in the aspects of real estate. You know what the life of real estate. You look at property virgins, Mike Homes, Homes on Homes, or Homes Inspection. There's not enough out there about, mortgages one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
I think people find it's really boring and so on. Numbers can be fun. It just depends how you approach
Mm-hmm.
things, right? And frankly, there's a huge need for that. There is one segment out there called Deaf to His Part, show about that. But I think you have to come from a perspective that's also not condescending, right? People will come out as long as there's something there for them to. And you also have to come from an approach that being gentle, right? And I think that a lot of individuals don't have time to do the math. And when individuals come see me, I lay out the land by showing them options A, B, and C. And I've actually forced to do the math right in front of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the reaction that people say to me go, wow, a lot of information, right? Yes, it is a lot of information, but I'm a big believer of getting more information than nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that way at least you're armed with the right tools, right? So
I actually think you'd be really good at it because, you've got great presence. I think you'd be really good on TV. And I also think I got a name for the show that people will definitely watch it.
Well, you know what? It goes right here.
What makes you different than, we've probably got 16,000 brokers in Canada, maybe a little bit more. What makes you different than everybody else?
The thing that I always say to my agents when they're out there, I tell them, what makes you different? And of course, they all say service, rates, and the first thing I say, blah, blah, blah,
Exactly,
blah, blah, blah,
exactly.
blah, blah, right? Whippy-doo-dah, right? Whippy-doo-dah. Or I return my calls faster and all that stuff. First of all, I am a woman, okay? That what makes me different, okay? We like men too, right? We like men too, right? Right? So when I'm saying that, believe me, let me rephrase that. Okay? First of all, I'm a woman. I'm proud of my skin and learn to be compassionate with individuals, right? So that's what makes me different, first of all, okay? And you also understand, women are, the buying powers, they make the decisions, right? And that's what I always say to individuals. There's no arguing. Happy wife, happy life. So I always tell the customer, the guy, I'm like, you want to live a happy life, you make sure she's happy. Otherwise, she'll make your life a misery hell, right? Rightfully so, right? So that's the first thing. And you also understand is that what makes you different? Think outside of the box, right? Think outside of the box. Don't follow the crowds. Don't sell the rate. If you're going to sell the rate, shut down your office now.
Go home.
Talk about the payment. Talk about the lifestyle, right? The financial sense, the freedom, right? Talk about that. And then the rate is secondary. It doesn't even come into the equation. Because I want to tell you one thing. What's happening right now, people are fearful the rates are just going to go up, we're locking right away and so on. I always tell individuals, take the emotion out of the equation, do the math. Math is black and white. It's very logical, right? And once you see it on paper, black and white, you'll never get yourself in trouble. If you use the emotion, you'll get yourself in trouble,
yes. Right?
And that's why, to me, is what I say to individuals, think outside of the box. Some of my agents say it. I don't like when they say this. They go, well, Eddie, you have this bobbing and weaving. Okay, bobbing and weaving. What do you mean bobbing and weaving? I like to weave? No, I just think outside of the box, right? Probe. That's the other thing what people forget to ask. Some of my agents, I ask them, did you ask them the questions? And they just look blank. I go, by the way, a customer comes to you and wants your help. They don't know. It is your right to ask the questions. And if a customer doesn't ask you the questions, tell them.
It's your responsibility.
Correct.
It's your responsibility
Correct.
to get to know.
But some agents are afraid because it's, this whole privacy issue. I really don't think it's right for me to ask. Well, yeah, you ask. Open your mouth, right? Because you understand, I tell individuals, so you need to tell me the good, the bad, and the ugly so I can learn how to package this Goes back to my chocolate days. How to package this. How am I going to present this to here and there? And also, speak with sincerity. Speak with honesty. You know, when I say to individuals is that when I'm in front of my customers, some of my individuals will say, Eddie, you don't need to really show people your personal portfolio because sometimes it can be perceived as condescending. I'm like, no, it's not. Maybe some people may perceive that. Others will say, wow, like, it's like you're being brutally honest. And if it's good for you, why not good for others? So you got to understand that if you have 5 individuals or 5 fingers, my dad always says, I have 4 kids and the 4 kids are different. Oh, thank God for that, right? Personalities, people are different. And you got to learn is to manage that. And that's why I say is, especially when you're building a team, you are going to have individuals that are your opposites, people are exactly the same, right? And my partner, my boyfriend, who is a real estate agent, and he tells me, Eddie, you can't find the Eddie Pitas. You can't mold them to become an Eddie Pita. You have to accept who they are. And that's one thing I understand that. Some people are go-getters. Some of them are more laid back in their own way, right? And so you have to find the fine balance. And that's why, to me, it's, what makes me different, think outside the box, being open and honest to individuals, and also I add value. And
you don't deal where everybody else deals. You don't sell rate, right? You don't sell service. You add value to the lifestyle of the customer.
Correct. The other thing is that some agents, they will go out there talking to other real estate agents, right? And I'm like, all they want is drum business, gimme, gimme, gimme. Well, that's the wrong attitude to take. First of all, you understand, you and 1,000 other mortgage people have knocked down that door and asked for business, okay? Most individuals will see other agents during the day. I remember when I was at the other side at Canada Trust, there was a branch manager who left and became a mobile person, right? And she was finding it tough in the first little while. And I looked at her and I said, you have to take your banker hat out. She said, what are you talking about? I go, got to take your banker hat out because you're too used to people coming to you. You need to be approachable coming out to them. Take your banker hat and you will be successful. Do the opposite of what others do, meaning most people will see agents during the day. See them in the evening. I know it's going to hamper your social life, right? But see them in the evening. Because if you go to a real estate office 6, 7 o'clock at night, they go, wow, you're doing that? I'm like, hell, aren't you? Aren't you working on a deal? You're working hard? Go on a Saturday or a Sunday. They'll be blown away. Do the opposite, right?
Of what everybody else is doing.
Correct, right? So that's why you have to do that. And also, I always also show another example is when you're seeing a real estate agent, ask them, how can I add value? All of them are going to ask you is, can you give me a power sale? I'm like, okay, you want to work for free? I will give you everyone. And like, what do you mean? Well, customers can redeem right up to the last minute. I'm like, oh, you're right? So what I mean by that is this. Become their glorified assistants. Everyone has a database, but no one works it. When I first started on the other side, there was a top real estate agent, and I approached this agent. I said, you know what? If you don't mind, I am going to be sitting down in your office 2 days a week, and I'm going to be calling off your database right in front of you. Because you got to understand, agents and people don't want you to touch my database.
It's scary stuff.
Scary stuff. So I will sit in front of you, call your database, say, hi, I'm calling on behalf of this individual. You bought your house with that individual years ago. How are you liking it? You like the neighborhood, right? Great. You know what? The house is too small for you. You're looking for something? Great. You know what? I am going to ask the agent to give you a call within the next few days.
So you're prospecting for the realtor.
Correct. Then what happens in the end of the night?
For free.
For free. You have.
What realtor is going to say no to that?
Of course. I said, okay, what does Eddie Max stand for? It's Mortgage Lines of Canada. You know what? It's co-branding. work together, right? And anything that I do in any advertising, it's about Mortgage Alliance. And people say to me, well, why don't you do this? No. You got to understand something is you got to work as a team, as an alliance to build, right? Yes, you can, people say this on the other side and this on the other side. I always find with individuals is that sometimes if you jump around too much, go from one company to another company to another company, then I start questioning, is it the company the issue or is it you the issue, right? And what you have to learn is being satisfied. And I think with our today's society is that instant gratification and go next, next, right? And I look back to where I came from. I didn't have to leave the bank. I had a great career. But I had a pivotal moment in my life that I knew that this is what I wanted to do. But because my whole world was different, I thought to myself, if I don't do this now,
I may never do it.
I'm in my comfort zone. You got to be out of your comfort zone. And also, too, as well, you have to have the skills of the mindset of the millionaire mind. You know, if you have those skill sets and speak with confidence and be sincere, approachable. And what I mean by approachable, too, it goes back to my days when that agent told me, Eddie, people know who you are. To give a brief background, back then, I was Miss Madeira and I was Miss Benfica. In Italian, Miss Benfica means something quite negative, right? But it's a soccer club, right? So yes, I do like my soccer balls and my roosters, right? You know, people know who you are, and they have a sense of familiarity. And I remember when I was Miss, most people would say, you just wait around, look pretty for people to approach you. No, I would go out to every table and introduce myself, who I was, and I would joke around, and I would say to the husband and wife, I'd say to the husband, you better make sure you get your wife dancing, because if you don't, that guy just has got an eye on your wife, eh? You better start dancing, right? So it's just joking around, being approachable to people. Go out to them. Don't wait them to come to you. And for me, with my sub-agents, is that I also give the opportunity for individuals that did not come from a banking background, because Canada Trust gave me that opportunity. I didn't have a mortgage background, so it's my way of giving back. And frankly, sometimes I've noticed individuals that those that come from the banking background and those that are not, these are habits that I cannot break. These are people that I can coach.
You can coach, and it's the sales. It's the sales acumen that you're looking for. You can teach somebody finance, but it's hard to teach somebody to be a salesperson. Right?
Correct. It's either in you or not.
I got to thank you. We're out of time, but I got to thank Eddie. I'm going to have you back. We're going to have you back. I just want to say, see you guys on Thursday. Make sure that you register, right? And remember, there's lenders, there's brokers, there's Mortgage Alliance. Mortgage Alliance is completely different, and the reason is people like Eddie. Thanks very much.